Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I, as always, am Grestar, and this is another death battle reaction, Sabrewulf versus Jon Talbain. So of course, make sure to click on the link in the description below to go to the official release first. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Watch that there, then come back here and we'll watch it together. First things, allergies. I apologize. Second, I misplaced my Majin beanie, and so in the interest of time, Kirby. Third, I think this is the last recording I'm going to have in this temporary recording space, so fingers crossed that that's the case. And fourth, yes, this is Sabrewulf versus Jon Talbain, as many of you might have seen in the comments of the last death battle reaction. I don't know anything about these characters aside from the fact that I was told in the comments that this was their Halloween episode, and so the big thing is that, like, they're werewolves or something of that sort. I'm assuming that the typical werewolf weaknesses are not coming into play. Like, I don't think we're gonna be messing with silver or anything like that. I don't think that it's going to be limited by a full moon or those kinds of conditions, but they are, I assume, bipedal lycanthropes. So aside from that, not really sure what to expect. So with that, let's get to watching. All right, Sabrewulf versus Jon Talbain. Let's do it.
Sir Thomas Browne once said, "Every man is his own greatest enemy, and as it were, his own executioner."
Oh.
For many, every day is a struggle to restrain the beast within.
Right.
Or else you might turn into a big old honking werewolf.
Such as Sabrewulf, the savage wolf man of killer instinct.
Okay.
And Jon Talbain, the kung fu canine darkstalker. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
I could have told you Killer Instinct was a fighting game, you know.
Deep in the heart of Germany's Black Forest lies the ruins of Sabrewulf Castle, home to a monster of unspeakable ferocity.
I mean, duh, it's called Sabrewulf Castle. What else do you expect?
Yeah, no,
But
that's
that
fair.
monster used to be a man. Baron Conrad von Sabrewulf.
Okay.
Once an aristocrat of wealth and status, his life would drastically change the day he discovered a secret laboratory deep within the castle's bowels.
He stumbled onto a treasure trove of monster hunting weapons and relics straight out of his family's secret history.
Including a mysterious large claw, which he accidentally cut himself on.
Oh
On the
no.
night of the next full moon, the Baron transformed into...
A vampire!
No, a werewolf. This is the werewolf episode.
Okay.
Come on, Wiz.
The werewolf
Spooky
episode,
castle
yeah.
In the middle of nowhere, a weird cursed artifact. He's got Vaughn in his name. This is totally a vampire backstory.
Now, that's for next year.
It does kind of sound
On
like
that
it,
night,
but
Baron
you know.
Sabrewulf became a bloodthirsty beast.
You know, the name really screwed him from the start there. Almost like it was destiny.
Well, originating as early as classical antiquity, the fable of men turning into wolves under a full moon is a staple of European
So it is
folklore.
actually, yeah, like
Real-life
typical
victims of
werewolf so far.
so-called lycanthropy most likely suffered from porphyria, hypertrichosis, or rabies.
Sabi rampaged all over the country, killing
Sabi.
everyone he found. Because as a big hairy demon dog, being a werewolf means your strength, speed, and tough hide are off the charts.
Of course, yeah.
Oh, and it makes you great at basketball.
We all
With
know
his
that.
razor-sharp claws, Sabrewulf can easily tear through solid steel. Also, any one of his cuts can potentially pass his curse to new victims.
But
Like the
he's
claw did
pretty
to him,
happy
yeah.
using those claws to brutally rush down any foe.
With a howl to the sky, Sabrewulf can amp himself up, or tap into his killer instinct to enter a feral rage.
Okay.
In this state, any sense of shame or repression is eliminated as he truly becomes a mindless monster. It also increases his chip damage and allows him to cancel auto doubles into other auto.
Yeah,
Great.
It makes him even more stronger and faster. We get it.
And to top it off, he can summon bats that are on fire.
Oh.
Gotta be honest, not sure where this one comes
No,
from.
I don't know.
He's a vampire in a fursuit. Called it.
Fair.
After a night of painting the town red with blood, Sabrewulf awoke to the nightmare that would be the rest of his life.
Yeah, he wasn't exactly a fan
Hold
of
on.
the whole werewolf thing, so he didn't.
Pause. I gotta blow my nose. I'm sorry, but I started this episode with an allergy warning for a reason, so play.
Anything he could to stop being a full moon furry, but science and magic couldn't cut it.
No.
He descended into madness, but eventually found a possible savior. Your friendly neighborhood soul-crushing megacorporation,
Oh.
Ultratech.
Oh, I see.
AKA
Ultratech, yeah.
Evil Walmart. Or just Walmart.
Ultratech
That's fair.
promised Sabrewulf a cure for his lycanthropy. But in reality, their experiments only gave him cybernetic implants in his arms.
Cool! cool.
and extended his werewolf form to last indefinitely.
So now he's never human,
Also cool.
but has
Sabrewulf
cybernetics.
was none the wiser. In return for a cure that would never come, he agreed to fight on Ultratech's behalf in their Killer Instinct tournament.
Fair,
What
yeah.
a goober. This moron ran around a creepy castle, bumped into something sharp like a dumbass.
I mean, yeah.
And now he might not even be potty trained. Then he got duped by the most obviously evil company ever to ruin his
He
life
was
even
desperate,
more. This
you
guy's
know?
either the unluckiest schmuck on the planet, or just high off his ass on opium.
Actually, he was dangerously addicted to opiates for a time,
Oh.
which only drove him further into madness.
Oh,
Wow, this guy's life sucks.
Regardless,
Poor guy,
Sabrewulf
yeah.
was a fierce competitor. Within the Killer Instinct tournament, he battled and defeated a Nez Perce warrior Thunder, the metallic super soldier Fulgor, and an actual dinosaur. He's certainly among a high tier of the competition.
Like Tusk, who can summon friggin' meteors out of the sky.
Based on how large this projectile is, its
Okay.
impact should be equivalent to over a kiloton of TNT.
Sure, Sabi can't magically
That doesn't seem
call
like a
down
lot
space
compared to what
rocks,
we're
but
used to.
He can survive a hit like that and dish it back. In the tournament, he won 17 fights in a row.
good for
Until he
him.
met the warrior monk Jacob.
Ah,
Protagonist, right? And he got his hairy cheeks clapped by an alien McFlurry named Glacius.
Even after
no.
the tournament, Sabrewulf proved strong enough to tear out his own cybernetic implants.
Oh.
While conducting experiments on him, Ultratech's android CEO Arya had noted that the older a werewolf gets, the more vicious and skilled it becomes, while the loss in strength and agility is negligible.
And he proved
Okay.
it in his rematch with Glacius. Who's the clapper of cheeks now, you projectile
Good
spewing
work,
snow
buddy.
cone?
Most impressive considering Glacius once got the drop on Arya, whom, according to an official novella, can react within a nanosecond.
Holy crap! He's not just your average werewolf, he's a super werewolf! A fighting tournament ass kicker!
Though he will sadly always be on the hunt for a cure that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Sabrewulf is one of the most dangerous monsters and men to ever live.
Poor guy. All right, now for Jon Talbain.
Welcome to the demon realm of Makai, a dimension inhabited by powerful beings known as Darkstalkers.
Okay.
Basically, your classic Hollywood movie monsters mixed with anime powers.
Oh,
Makai is
all
ruled
right,
by
thank you,
several
actually.
noble
That's nice.
clans, including the Kroots, a family of beasts.
Ooh.
Like werewolves?
Including one prominent member, Baraba the Wolf Lord, who had a son named Galen.
Galen.
Which means hungry wolf. Really thinking
Really?
outside the box
Okay.
with that one, huh?
Perhaps he'd prefer his English name, Jon Talbain.
Yeah, but his dad is named a freaking Wolf Lord. That's so awesome it almost makes me forget he's a total deadbeat. Just like my dad.
Aw,
Did I say that out loud?
you did.
Things
You
got
yes.
worse. One of the Wolf Lord's enemies, the Demon Jeddah, sent an assassin to kill Jon's mother.
Okay.
Move. Moms are off limits. Now a werewolf and an orphan, Jon grew up pretty pissed off at just about everything.
Makes sense.
Especially the humans that hunted him when he transformed.
Makes
In the
sense.
light of a full moon, Jon can't help but embrace his Kroot's heritage.
They are
And under
normal
a white
werewolves.
blood moon,
I mean,
he risks
nothing but
losing
silver,
all
but yeah.
sense of self and becoming a ravenous beast. Jon's story was about the same as any werewolves until he happened upon a man who was also half monster and who defeated Jon in combat.
I see.
Martial arts. Hell yeah! I keep telling people the only way to solve violence is with a good pair of nunchucks.
Jon's new friend did not offer violence, but control.
Ah.
Seeing little other option, Jon accepted a life with his new sensei.
Well, we don't know for sure what fighting style he was trained in. Based on the time period, location, and his stance, we can guess that he was learning Shotokan karate.
Okay.
Inspired by Bushido and Zen Buddhism, Shotokan Karate's focus is on controlled calm, a strong defense, and a rejection of unnecessary violence. Basically
Okay.
the exact opposite of being a werewolf.
Yeah, not
Well,
frenzied.
sign me up for his doggy dojo. Cause I have no idea how all that Zen stuff translates to moves like his climb chaser and wild circular.
Yeah, I don't know if he does either.
Unnecessary violence, my ass. This dude's just showing off.
By embracing his werewolf speed, Jon can bash foes with his nunchaku and move so fast he appears to be in two places at once.
And by tapping
Interesting.
into his inner energy, you know, ki,
Yeah.
Jon can perform the beast cannon and rocket around the room like a doggy meteor of pain. But that's nothing compared to the almighty dragon cannon.
Oh.
Yeah. So much for being zen, right? That dragon can incinerate a whole wall.
Jon's training seemed to do the trick, until his master was killed by a group of bandits.
Oh.
Where was your flaming dragon there, man?
Enraged yet again by the cruelty of mankind, but tempered by his master's
Same had an H in that
Jon
instance.
became conflicted over his role
I thought
in
it normally
the
did.
Gray world, unwilling to fight, but always ready.
And by combining his martial arts skills with his natural werewolf powers, he became a wolf man to be reckoned with.
His razor-sharp claws can slice through steel, and even punch holes in powerful darkstalkers like Lilith.
He's also got those great doggo senses, like super hearing and smell.
Right.
To demonstrate, I've modulated Dummy's senses up to the same degree
Dummy!
as those of a wolf.
I see you find my frequent humiliation amusing.
Oh, I do. Boop.
In
Oh, you're
open
cute,
climates,
bud.
Wolf ears can hear sounds up to 10 miles away.
Boomstick, somebody's outside stealing your dune buggy.
No, there. Wait, really?
And their sense of smell is over 100 times greater than that of a human's.
Oh good, the thief got away.
What did you smell that told you that?
Salt, lots and lots of salt.
Aw.
With nothing but grit and a thick layer of what I'm sure is unreasonably soft fur that you just want to scritch behind
Of course,
the ear.
yeah.
Jon has survived an onslaught of missiles from the monster hunter BB Hood. Wait. Who gave Little Red Riding Hood military grade?
No, it's fine, it's fine.
I want to shake their hand.
We've seen Jon dodge bullets up close, but he's bragged about being as fast as light speed.
Sure, Jon.
And he can take down these 5,500-pound alien robots called Heat Souls, which can fly through outer space. Also, it's worth mentioning that Darkstalker society is broken up into different classes based on the strength and power of the individual.
Right.
Jon is a B+ class Darkstalker, which is way above average, so it makes sense to compare him to other B+ classers.
His fingers
to
are
gauge
so
his
long.
limits.
Like Anakaris, who sank all of ancient Egypt underground.
Oh.
Or QB, who could lift a massive beehive high above this castle.
Oh.
Based on its size relative to the castle, this hive would have to weigh over 30 million tons.
That's like lifting over 300 aircraft carriers.
And we're saying that Jon is that
Jon's
strong?
way more jacked than she is. And imagine getting
Okay.
stung by one of those bees.
No, I don't want
Even
to.
with his
No,
amazing
thank you.
power, after decades of torment, Jon had resigned himself to a life of misery and solitude.
Until he met the cutest cat.
Aw.
around. Now, we all know cats are usually super evil and Satan's presence on Earth.
Of course,
but
yes.
Alicia taught him that humans actually aren't so bad. Wait. So years of martial arts discipline couldn't temper his bad side, but getting laid did? You know what? I believe in.
Yeah,
As far as we know, they're just friends.
Yeah, and I'm sure the internet could give you 34 good reasons why that's bullshit.
30,
Liz.
yeah,
Well,
we all
despite
know
what
that.
DeviantArt thinks, Felicia would help Jon conquer
I'm
his
sorry, are you
dark
going on DeviantArt for your porn? Because there are much better
literally
places.
Fought his dark side and killed it. I always thought that was supposed to be
Oh.
metaphor stuff, but I guess that isn't the weirdest thing we've talked about.
Okay.
And with that victory, Jon finally claimed dominance over his monstrous identity and committed himself to a life of compassion.
Good for
Jon
him.
will always be a Darkstalker. If he relapses, he'll be as deadly as ever.
There will always be a monster inside of him, just waiting to be let loose.
Existence with humans is impossible. That is why we are called Darkstalkers.
But if Alicia teach you that was
All right,
not
the
true.
combatants are set, and we've run the data through all
Anyway.
possibilities.
It's
Time for a death battle and pause. Okay, so I mean, unless I really missed something, it seems like Jon's going to win. So the issue is that right now, like, I feel very confident that Jon's going to win, which makes me think that I missed something and that Sabrewulf must be the winner. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that's making me doubt myself. But like, I'll talk through why, and then if I really get a reason why Sabrewulf would win as I talk through, like if something else comes to mind, then we might switch. But I'm gonna try not to second guess myself. It's just, it seems Jon Talbain, like, the biggest thing I think that I'm not sure about between the two, just like comparing them, is we know Sabrewulf could react like to the nanosecond or whatever, right? And Jon, he was able to dodge bullets, but that's like not the same. And he claimed he could move at light speeds, but we're like, yeah, sure, you know, like we didn't believe that. So I think that Sabrewulf might have reaction speed above Jon. And if that's the case, just with how Death Battle tends to measure reaction speed, then he probably is also faster than Jon. But it seemed that in every other regard, Jon was superior. They didn't mention for Sabrewulf having animalistic senses, but they did mention that for Jon. And so that would be an improvement over just human senses, you know? They both mentioned that their claws can cut through steel, but it seemed that Jon was doing more, like cutting through enemies, the way that he was like slicing things in half, like seemingly with ease, like not just cutting through, but just like, bam, you're done, right? You know, you're bisected. There was something else like right at the beginning that made me think that Jon was actually stronger too, or that his claws were sharper or whatever. Like it was before they mentioned he could cut through steel, like it was right at the beginning. I don't remember what it was, but yeah. They also had like Sabrewulf being able to survive that meteor, but it was only like, I don't know, wasn't it just like 1,000 or so kilotons of TNT or something like that? And then they mentioned like that Jon Talbain's like dragon fire thingy could incinerate a wall. Like it takes a lot to incinerate something instantly, you know? And so I think that that is just more like energy output than the meteor would have been. And basically then, like, just to top it all off, they said that Jon fought his dark self, and I assume that, oh, and like we have the strength of lifting the beehive, that giant beehive, right? And how many tons, like how many aircraft carriers that would have been. And then Jon is supposedly stronger than her. And so if we're saying that Jon can do that and more, and then Jon fought himself, like his dark self, and if we're assuming that his dark self is equal in strength and everything to his self, you know, then that means that he can endure all that. And so that's, again, that's the thing. It seems like it's a landslide for Jon, and so I must be missing something, or they just made this like a really easy, like one-sided episode. You know, but I can't think of anything else that would really be like, oh yeah, see, Sabrewulf though has this, you know? They both seem to have the means to kill each other just if they can do it, you know? Like if they can get to each other or whatnot. Well, I mean, except maybe not Sabrewulf, because if Jon is that much stronger than Sabrewulf, and if Jon was able to fight himself, then he would be more durable. I don't know. Jon's going to win this one and play. If Sabrewulf wins, like, I'm really looking forward to hearing how. But fingers crossed for Jon, because I'm gonna feel embarrassed if I'm wrong. Because, again, how'd I miss something that big?
No forgiveness left, monster.
Rah, 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 rah. You can do it, Jon! It's an angry song. Not fire! Wow, yeah, we actually are getting like a screamer song. That's interesting. Yes, I'm calling it the screamer song. You get the heavy metal screams in there, you know? What? I'm sorry, what are you? What was that? Jon, you can do it! Ow. That looked painful.
See you taste enticing.
Cool. Oh, I forgot about his fire bats. Oh, Key's so annoying. Yeah, murder them. Oh yeah, you're Nunchaku. Firewolf, or dragon, fire dragon, sorry. They're wolves. Wow, it can incinerate a wall, and it did that person, but he was relatively fine behind it, it seemed. Blood Moon.
No, not now.
Is that gonna be his downfall?
Not like him.
Oh, his intestines! Don't choke on your own intestines, dude!
Like this.
Wait, what? Dragon?
monster. But tonight, I'll make an exception.
This really is the Halloween episode. Goodness gravy. Wow.
I think I need to see a therapist. Tell them how awesome that was.
Once the intestines were out, I was like, I guess I got something wrong.
For him in most regards. For instance, Jon was trained in genuine martial arts and practiced them for decades, while Sabrewulf relied entirely on instinct.
Killer instinct.
Killer instinct.
I beat you to it. I beat Boomstick to it.
You're no fun. But hey, remember how Sabi defeated Glacius, who attacked Arya in less than a nanosecond?
Yes.
Technically, that put Sabrewulf's reaction capability well within light speed, which Jon claimed he could match.
But that was just bragging, right?
Hardly. Those Huitzel units Jon fought were capable of flying across the galaxy, hundreds of millions of light years in only a short time. This is important because fellow Darkstalkers Morgan and Dimitri have intercepted Huitzels in mid-flight combat.
Yeah, those two are A-classes.
I was wondering why they'd mentioned the robots could fly in space.
Higher classes in speed plenty of times. Hell, BB Hood can, and she's a C-class.
When it comes to the Darkstalker class system, speed is much less a factor than power and energy levels. To be frank, even if Jon was half Morgan's speed, he'd still be faster than Sabrewulf. So, if anything, he wasn't bragging enough.
Wow.
He was way stronger.
All right, then.
QB's also a B-plus Darkstalker, and she lifted that 30-million-ton beehive. Way more than anything Sabrewulf can pull off. And when it came to ranged options, I think a Flaming Inferno Key Dragon beats out a lone discount fireback any day.
While his application is different, we can gauge the level of ki Jon has at his disposal by factoring Anakaris sinking all of Egypt.
So the only logical thing to do was measure the total weight of ancient Egypt.
Of course.
No, really. We did that.
Most buildings in the period were made of clay bricks and about 4.3 meters tall.
Okay.
Adding the known volume of the pyramids and considering additional land, we determined Anakaris' ki had to be strong enough to move a civilization weighing over 1.2 trillion tons.
That's a lot of tons.
I'm not even counting all the
It's more than I could live for sure.
They had a shitload of cats. Now that sounds crazy for an old school horror monster like a mummy or a werewolf, but Darkstalkers aren't quite like the classic.
No.
At this fight's core though, Jon won because of the kind of werewolf he was. Through years of struggle, Sabrewulf never found any means to tame his savagery, while Jon had successfully managed to regulate his wild side, giving a level of precision, skill, and control the poor Baron couldn't even begin to understand. Sabrewulf was vicious and unrelenting, but Jon had the training, the power, and yes, the Flaming Inferno Dragons to score a brutal victory.
Brutal doesn't even cut it. I mean, how much blood was that? You know, it had to be at least a gallon.
The winner is Jon Talbain.
Claps for Jon. Cool.
Thanks for watching this episode of Death Battle. Come back next week to see previews of our upcoming matchups. If you want to watch more stuff, you can click the boxes right around here, and you can always pick up some DB merch at store.roosterteeth.com.
That's right. And next time on Death Battle, we actually have red versus blue.
I got a tank. People with tanks are never outnumbered.
Yeah, so next time we'll actually watch this one. So,
yay! Alright, let's talk about this death battle. We had Sabrewulf versus Jon Talbain, so I'm glad that I was right. I'm surprised by how one-sided it seems, though maybe it's just because I picked up on certain things that other people might not have. I don't know. This just seems like a less subtle episode than usual as far as who the victor would actually be. Though, if I look at the comments, it always... No one ever knows, no one ever agrees. You know, in some episodes, people are like, oh, well, it was obvious this person would win, and in that same episode, they're like, that person should not have won ever in their lifetime. You know, so yeah, whatever. But based on the information that the Death Battle team gave me, I agree with the results here, and I'm glad for the conclusion. I'm a little, like, they mentioned that, like, the biggest difference, or maybe they didn't say it like this. Maybe I'm putting more emphasis on it than they actually did, but it seems like they were putting a lot of emphasis on the fact that, you know, they were two different kinds of werewolves where Jon was able to actually control himself. But given that he was apparently, like, way faster than Sabrewulf and way stronger than Sabrewulf, even if we disregard his techniques, like, if we want to say that he wouldn't be able to use those techniques if he weren't able to control himself, even if we disregard those, Jon still would win, I think. like, if it were just feral werewolf versus feral werewolf, given their speed and strength differences, I'm pretty sure that Jon would still win, you know? So, like, story-wise, the big difference might be that Jon was able to control himself through, like, meditation and martial arts and all that. But, you know, if we're just talking to Victor, unless they, like, really talked Jon up, you know, in the conclusion, more than they should have with his speed and strength, it seems like he would still win if it were just a claw v claw fight, you know? So, I don't know. Either way, it was still interesting to learn about the two of them. Regarding the animation, I'll admit I was getting lost a little bit at the beginning, but I will also admit that I'm tired and I got up not long ago. So I think that was probably part of it. And, you know, again, like, to reduce glare, I did have my screen brightness down. And this was, again, like the last one, a fairly dark episode, given that it was Halloween and whatnot. But not always being able to follow the very beginning wasn't that bad. Most of it, I feel, I mean, a lot of it was much the same of them just, like, slapping each other with their claws. And then we got, I think, to the more meat of the fight, like the meatier part of the fight, in the latter half. And by that point, I was able to follow along just fine, I think. So that was cool. I enjoyed seeing their different techniques come out. As far as, you know, we got to see some of the nunchucks, we got to see, like, the fire bats, we got to see the fire dragon twice, we got to see it, which I wasn't expecting the second time. We got to see some of that brutality as far as just, like, puncturing the opponent, ripping the intestines out was just quite brutal. I don't know if he has stuff like that in Killer Instinct, but we got to see it here, which, by the way, I want to cover this again just for y'all who are, you know, trying to randomly point fingers and like, aha, but you said that kind of thing, because it's weird that y'all do that sometimes. No, I'm not a huge fan of gore and things like that. It's not been my thing. In certain contexts, like in the context of horror movies, it can be really disturbing for me, because I don't really enjoy the concept of pain, like on an empathetic level, you know? And so gore mutilation, I also don't like that. It can be fine in moderation and given the context. Like in Death Battle, it's expressed in a different way than it would be expressed in horror movies. But the biggest thing is just, I appreciate Death Battles for the analyses and the conclusions in particular. The fights are a nice way to cap it off, but I'm not here for the gore, you know what I mean? So I just throw that out, since this was a rather gory episode as far as like the vicious bites that were taken out, all that stuff, the decapitation at the end. Yeah. So I'm pleased with this fight. Not my favorite, but it was certainly entertaining, and I hope that you all were entertained by it as well. Next time we have Red versus Blue. Again, I gave some of my like background on Red versus Blue in the previous episode, but it's basically just I watched it up to a certain episode where I think, again, Blue one, I want to say his name's Tucker. I could be completely wrong. There was a time thing, and there were a lot of him in that area, like right at the end of the episode. That's the last one I saw, and I watched this back in 7th grade for me. So it's been quite some time, considering I graduated high school in 2012. So, yeah. Am I particularly looking forward to this episode? Like, no, honestly. It's been so long since I've seen Red vs. Blue that I just, like, I don't mean this in any rude way, but just, I don't care at this point. You know, I would be perfectly fine living my life if I didn't have another moment's exposure to Red versus Blue, you know? Like, I'm not, again, not trying to be rude, I'm just trying to be honest. This is not a part of my life anymore, you know? And considering Red versus Blue is all Rooster Teeth and Death Battle is owned by Rooster Teeth, you know? You know, do I have some concerns about how it's gonna be portrayed? Yeah, sure, I do, you know? Especially if people have told me that this was meant to be an advertisement for, like, Red vs. Blue Zero or something like that, right? Like a new iteration of the Red vs. Blue show. And we know how their last advertisement worked out for me. The Boys episode. Wasn't a fan of that as far as Death Battle is concerned, you know? So, if this is also an advertisement, 1, I can't expect the quality to be the same, and 2, I can't expect like the feats to be like accurately determined, or the winner to be accurately determined, because they said that what's his face, like Butcher, would be the winner of the Boys, and no, he wouldn't. So who knows? All the same, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you'll tune in and enjoy the next reaction video of Red vs. Blue. So with that, we're calling it here. Have a good one, everybody.